What is going on, everybody? It is Dave in here helping you play creatively. Hey, a question I got recently was, how do you know which voicing to use? And often when I get that type of question, I just avoid it because I don't want to go through the entire answer in an email. But hey, I thought I would make a video about it because it's a really good question. How do you know which voicing to use? You have so many options. I think the reason also why I didn't answer the question is because it's not a clear-cut answer on which voicing to use. But for beginners, I think there are some principles that you can apply when playing the piano. I'm just gonna give you some principles. I wouldn't really call these hard and fast rules, but these were certainly helpful to me in my piano playing journey, especially early on. One of the first things you should think about is, what is the melody? Now, the melody can help guide your chord choices, okay? Let's take a little song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. All right, how do I know which voicing to use? I can kind of think of voicing as sometimes interchangeable with inversion. So what I'm doing here is I'm thinking about the melody. I want to keep the melody on top. That's absolutely essential. That allows me to know which voicing to use, okay? So for twinkle, okay? Little star, how I wonder what you are. Now, for the most part, I use really basic chords there. And what I did was I just kept the melody on tops. Okay, so that's step one. Keep the melody on top and allow all of your other chords to be at the bottom. Now, here's something else to think about. I'm so grateful for two guys. Mr. Neely, you'll often hear me say his name on this channel because he was probably the most influential person in my piano playing journey. And then there's a guy named Derek. I can't even remember his last name, but he was my church pianist for a long time. And both of them told me this rule. And then I learned that Mr. Neely learned this rule from Derek. And I didn't even know they knew each other. All right, what's the rule? Do not play whatever is in your left hand in your right. What am I talking about here? Let's take a look at that second chord. Because the rule doesn't apply when you're playing the melody. So twinkle, twinkle. Now, for this twinkle, I am playing a C in first inversion. Or you might look at this as a C major in your right hand with an E in the left, okay? But instead of playing the chord like this, I play the chord like this. And it somehow spaces out the chord, like it just gives it a lot more space. And so I do that often, okay? So that's one of the first things I do is whatever I'm playing in my left, I try not to play it in my right, all right? So. And I did the same thing on that F major chord, right? Even though it's an F major chord, you see me playing the chord like this. I'm choosing this voicing for the chord rather than this voicing for the chord because, what's the principle? You don't play what's in your left and your right. And did the same thing on a D minor. I did the same thing on a G major. All right, so that's one principle. Now, let's try to combine that principle with another concept, and that's this. Start to add major sevens to your playing, or sevens in general, okay? So how would we do this? We're not gonna do it on the first chord, although we can. We're gonna do it on the second one. So now, this is gonna be tricky because even though it's a C major over E, or you might think, okay, well, go ahead and add the C major 7, which is a B. We're not going to do that. Not now, anyway. We're going to add the 7 of the E, which is the chord that I'm not playing, and we're going to play it here, okay? I'm sorry, which is the note that I'm not playing in my right hand. So, and it just gives it a touch of flavor. It made me so excited just now. Goodness gracious. Man, I like that already. Now we're going to go ahead and add the 7 here of F major 7. okay? And we did it back there. So that's another principle, is to add the 7 of the note that is not in your right hand. For F major, instead of playing the F, I added the 7 of F, right? Which is E. For C major, instead of adding the C major 7, which would be B, I'm gonna actually add the note of the 7 of E, okay? Which is gonna be D, all right? Okay, so. I can do it on a D minor. Now I'm going to give you one more. Sometimes I like to put the 7 in my left hand, and all that is, and now I can add the 7 on my first chord, which would be like this. Okay, so I'm going to play the root and then the 7. And so that could be something that you practice with all of your chords, is adding the 7 in your left hand only. Oh, it's so sweet. Okay, so you can find places where you might say, okay, that was a little bit too much tension for me. And then you can just decide there, okay, I won't do it there, but I'm gonna do it in the other spots. Anyway, I think those are some good principles to think about when knowing, okay, what voicing do I use, all right? Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. If you wanna grow in your piano playing journey, I actually have a free membership that you can check out in the links below. Go ahead and click on it and you can learn more about it, all right? Until next time, keep watching, keep learning, and we'll all keep growing together. I'll see you guys next week.